such a hottie.
We're rolling.
Nice. That was candid. We were just discussing how this is the first time I think we definitely can tell. Like, we know for a fact that, like, Heather really does tell the difference when we're recording. And, like, she hates it or whatever.
I need to
whatever. I don't want to talk about Heather. Heather, you're not the star of the show.
No, you're not. This episode, I don't know when it'll come out, but it is Thanksgiving week.
Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday.
Mine too. I love the Macy's parade.
Yeah. It's just like the peak of fall for me, and fall's like my favorite season. And it's just my favorite meal to eat.
It's the food.
Yeah.
And also like the sense of community that you feel.
Yeah, eating with people you've known your whole life. Like, it's always the same people.
Mm-hmm.
Your families and stuff.
I know that it might not feel that way for many people if they have like toxic families and stuff like that. But we actually threw a Friendsgiving because of that. Just to have like a safe space, you know. And everyone happened to be queer, but you didn't have to be, you know. But it was vegetarian. That was the only thing. And everything was pretty bomb. And I literally, like, when we all were sitting and eating, it just was so... It just felt so good to feel like we were eating, breaking bread in community with each other. It just kind of, like, made it official, you know, that we're, like, family.
Yeah, I liked eating with everyone. I like to see what people brought, like, what their cooking skills are.
Yeah.
And
there was nothing that was bad. Everything was good.
Yeah, everything was great. And we're all just, like, making jokes, like, getting a little bit tipsy. Mm-hmm. Everyone was so, I think, excited to just hang out. And just, like, see everyone again. Some people we haven't seen in a while or whatever. It was great.
Yeah. It was really nice. And it was kind of funny because we had a little table set up with all of the dishes. And this random lady just comes up and asks me if this is Friendsgiving. And I was like, yeah, because it was. And then it turns out that she wasn't with our group. I just assumed that someone invited her from the group. And yeah, I was just like, yeah, this is Friendsgiving. And then as she's like putting her stuff down, one of our friends was like, I think you're in the wrong group.
Yeah, they were like, it's vegan, right? And then they look and they're like, it doesn't look vegan. And then our friend was like, no, it's vegetarian though. And they're like, oh, okay, have a great Friendsgiving. We're like, yeah, you too. So we invited one of our friends over from San Diego to our Thanksgiving at home in Orange County. And I'm so excited to hang out with them. I didn't even explain why it's my favorite holiday. So it's my favorite holiday, not just because it's the peak of fall, but... Oh, yeah, and not just because it's my favorite meal, but I think it has the most nostalgic tradition associated with it, which is just watching the Macy's parade. We've been doing that every year for the longest I can remember, and it's like my happiest tradition, the tradition I have no bad memories of or anything. Like, you know, sometimes Christmases for us are a hit or miss, not because of anything specific, but just it is how it is. But Thanksgiving always hits for me. Because I get to watch the Macy's parade with my sister, and we just, like, make jokes and, like, talk shit.
Yeah.
And then, and, like, laugh at
but it's
cool
cute
balloons.
too. Exactly.
No, we love it. We're not roasting it.
Exactly.
But we give it, like anything in our lives, we give it some grief. Just a little.
Well, I mean, I feel like we make a joke out of everything.
Exactly. We don't take anything seriously.
And I live by that.
Yeah. So I'm going to make fun of the Pillsbury Doughboy balloon whenever I feel like it.
Exactly. The Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
They used to have a...
Don't take it personally, Pillsbury Doughboy. I really like you. That's why I like to poke fun.
I think there's going to be a Blue's Clues one this year. Because someone on TikTok was literally in tears, like sobbing. Did you see it?
No.
And they were like, the set list for the parade is out. And they're like reading it. And then they show a picture and it's like all three of the different Blue's Clues guys are going to be in the parade at the same time. And the girl's just like bawling.
Oh my gosh, not gonna lie though, Blue's Clues was my shit.
Mine too.
Yeah, I was like, I think it's like early on daddy issues. Like I attached myself to this adult male figure who I thought
Yes.
would protect me.
Yeah.
And so that's why like my dad is gonna
We
be in the
loved
parade.
it.
Uh-huh.
We really loved it. I was gonna say, like, the Macy's parade is, I think, well, honestly, I feel like, because everybody that I've told that Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday is like, what about Christmas? You know? And it's like, well, the thing is that, like, Thanksgiving is the day before Christmas. So it's that anticipation too. And the Macy's parade always ends with Santa Claus bringing in the Christmas season. Like, that's kind of the point too. Like, we're it's the start of like the holidays, you know?
Right, because once Thanksgiving kicks off, it's just that's it. Holiday season.
It's Christmas.
Like full on holiday season. No one can be like,
right.
It's not even Thanksgiving yet.
I'm one of those people.
You
I swear
whiny
to
little
God.
babies. Why you gotta complain about joy?
Because it's my favorite holiday, and I'm like, can we please keep it in the boxes for a fucking week longer, please?
To me, Thanksgiving is like Christmas combined. So in my brain, though, so I get what you're saying, because it's not until it gets to that day that you feel that. But for me, it's like that is the idea of like, oh no, once it's November, it's like both.
Yeah, I mean, they've made it that way, right? And by they, I mean the powers that be. Fuck capitalism. Fuck
capitalism, because why am I stressing every year to buy my friend something new when it's like none of us, first of all, need anything new? And I mean that we all have our jobs or whatever, like we have our basic necessities met. I'm sure I could get my friend something fun, but like nothing that they would really, really want or use that they can't buy themselves. Like I rather like go out with my friends and celebrate together, play something fun like White Elephant. I don't know, it's just I personally stress over getting like meaningful gifts on Christmas, and it's also just like that I think attaches itself to like having to buy something and feeling like I have to, and then doesn't turn into like a want, you know?
No,
because like why am I really doing this? Like I can get you a nice gift for your birthday or whatever that I feel like really has to do with our friendship or whatever, but it's like I don't know, Christmas is a little bit too, it's a lot at once because I have so many friends and like I'm gonna be fucking broke if I buy all my friends something.
Well, it's
like
true.
Every person is so meaningful to me,
right?
You know, no, if I could buy everyone a gift, oh my gosh, I would buy each of you what your dream car. I don't care. Whatever. But like, you know, obviously we're in a weird time. It's a really, really weird time. Christmas kind of reminds you of capitalism.
Yeah, like you said, if you could get everyone a gift, you would. And so now we're like pressured into this like societal norm that like, you know, if you don't buy someone a gift, then they're in a different hierarchical level of your life in terms of like priority or level of love, I guess, you have for them. Because I was just thinking like, yeah, this Christmas coming up is going to be a little bit of a stretch, you know, for me. And last year was the complete opposite, you know, and I was able to give a lot more gifts. And the gifts that I like always wished I could afford, I was able to do last year. And this year, it just really feels like, wow, I feel like I have to give every single person that I gave a gift last year, this year. Otherwise, they're going to think something.
Like something's up,
or like we don't care, and that's probably not true.
It's not true. Literally all my friends like I'm equally invested in our friendship. And that's I was last year, but I'm just more broke this year.
Right, that's just how the cookie crumbled. I'm trying to think of like a good phrase that doesn't manifest lack in my life, because saying I'm broke is such a stagnant statement. Like, you as a person are a broke bitch. It's like, no. Right now, I'm financially lacking. That's usually what I say.
That's good to separate it.
I guess, yeah, to make it more like literally right now, I'm lacking. But
no, yeah, because we grew up saying I'm broke because we were broke growing up.
Yeah,
and that's just normal. Like we had everything.
We were poor.
Yeah, all of our basic necessities were met. And that was it. Like, we only had enough for our basic necessities. That's why we were constantly broke and felt like we couldn't spend on other things like experiences or like, you know, extra things, whatever. And so saying we're broke is so normal to us. And I think we almost feel like we're entitled to say we're broke because we grew up broke. Like, we know what broke is. It's like, sure, we might feel
But maybe
that way
that's why you're
again.
still broke.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why I'm like, I'm glad we're making this known or pointing it out, because we constantly have to do that.
Yeah.
You don't realize what old things with cobwebs running that are still, like, you haven't double checked and be like, that's not serving me. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm definitely manifesting money. So
I would love to explain a little further what manifestation, because people look at me like I lost my mind whenever I'm like, I manifested this, or I'm manifesting it right now, like, and I know I get it. It's kind of like an irony type of thing that people make fun of and say, you know, just to be quirky, and I'm fine with it. I'm not going to take offense, but I do think it's important and helpful and useful for people to understand what manifesting means, at least in the way that I perceive it, you know? So, like, if you, for example, if I were to always just say that I'm broke, then I would behave. Oh my God. Did you see how much she fucking leaped? Heather, you're so
She's jumping on
annoying.
Heathy, come here.
Go. Go, baby. If I used I'm broke as the excuse for everything, because let's be real, that is the excuse for everything, right? Like, I'm just broke, I'm broke, oh, I can't go to that, I'm broke. And if I did that, then I would behave like a broke person, you know, because I'd be like, I would be saying it to my friends, I would be saying it to my family, I would be saying it to myself, and then I would behave accordingly, right? And so then, like, the opportunities where I could be grateful and thankful for what I actually do have would just be, like, tied up in this identity of me being a broke person. And then I wouldn't take risks or invest in anything. You know what I mean? I was stuck for so long, like, not doing anything outside of work and my relationship because I was broke. You know what I mean? Like, quote unquote, broke. And I had the opportunity to, like, put my money somewhere that had literally no attachment to any goals of mine. Like, I don't want to be a comedian, you know, but I wanted to join improv just because. And I did. And then it clicked to me like, oh, I wasn't broke. I was just too scared to try something. And I was manifesting lack mentality and making broke decisions, which means I never took a chance on paying for a class or, you know, going on a trip last minute. Like, all these things that a broke person doesn't do, right? So we have to, like, reframe that in our brain and just, like, live in this world of abundance, because we are. Like, driving back here from picking up a gallon of water, I mean, and I'm not saying it's wrong to think that. Don't shame yourself if you think those things. I think them too. And, like, I was driving back from buying water and I was just thinking, like, damn, like, this is gonna be a skinny week, you know? And then
I'm dead. I'm dead. What do you mean by that?
Like, there's no fat to it, there's no joy to it. It's just It's just skinny and
straight to the point, basic necessities.
It's like met. You get to chew on this bone for this week. That's your meal. You know what I mean?
I see. That's a meal.
That's your meal. And then I stopped myself. I literally was like, wait a minute. I'm in a car with AC on. I have a trunk with a huge gallon of water. I'm driving to the house that I live in with my sister and my dog. I'm not lonely. I'm, like, you know. And I spent all day at a coffee shop just fucking around on my computer. What the fuck do I want? What more do I want? It's like, the money's gonna keep coming. I'm getting paid next week. It's fine. Let's just, like,
accept what is.
Accept what is. And
see joy in that.
Have. Yes.
Yeah. I totally see what you mean. And then that approach, that intentional approach, attracts more things to be grateful for.
Exactly.
More things that you want. Because, now you're at the frequency where you're equal to that energy, and it's finding you because it's yours.
Yeah.
And you deserve it because that's the energy attached to you.
Because now that it's not I'm broke, it's I'm grateful for everything that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you're keeping track of all the things you have.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're never lacking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do as well. It's just gratitude is the only way to get to like growing what you have.
Mm-hmm.
You have to see what you got first,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can expand and grow. But you have to be able to see what you have, because at one point this is what you wanted. You didn't have any of this stuff.
Right.
There was a point where you wanted all this, and that's why it's here.
And
so you
going
just have
back,
to want more, and then it'll be there.
and
Just
going back
follow
to
in that direction.
capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
That's how capitalism is designed to work. That you need to feel like you never have enough. Because then you're going to get everything you dreamed of, but that's not going to be enough either. Why? Because there's yet another row on top of that one until you get to the top of the pyramid. But who's at the top of the pyramid, you know? Like, none of us. So don't fall into that trap. You're never going to get there. Be happy for what you have right now. That being said, of course, we're all going through shit too at the same time, and that's valid. I just think that, like, we should focus more on, like, the emotional, like, how things are affecting us emotionally, but not the things themselves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You just mean, like, well, you do have everything that's there.
I guess I mean, like, because when I think about, like, you need to be grateful for what you have. You know, the Libra in me is like, but what about people that, like, have a narcissistic mom that abuses them? Are they supposed to be grateful for that? It's like, no, you know, that's valid. And I'm just trying to, like, point that out. And then, and also, to more directly answer your question, what about the people who are homeless and don't have anything to eat? It's like, that's valid. And that's like, the problem isn't that they don't have stuff. It's that they've been abandoned by society, and they literally just have been told that they're not allowed. And that, to a person, it just tells you that you're not important, you know, or worthy of a fucking house or food or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's extreme.
That's extreme, yeah.
Because
But that's capitalism. Capitalism is
right.
extreme.
Well, that was my extreme example.
Yeah.
Because, like, yeah, people work sun up, sun down and can barely pay their rent, you know? And I'm like, I'm trying to just say, like, that's a valid thing to feel shitty about.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why, like, you and I grew up seeing that, because our mom was not here documented. And so at that point, it was really hard to watch. And now, you know, my mom went through some things, so it's gotten better. Mm-hmm. She's good now, but
she's documented.
Yeah, she's
that's
documented
the opposite
now
of what she was.
Oh, but basically, growing up and watching that, and watching relatives and your friends' parents, and hearing about all these, you know, first generation problems to do with money, makes you so grateful for everything you do have as an American citizen here. I always say this, that we in California complain about nothing. Mm-hmm. All the time. Mm-hmm. All of the fucking time. And I have to catch myself every fucking day. Every day. Until I stop. Because I have everything I need. I watch these videos of people in Central America, and they're literally sleeping on trash. And their houses are made of wood, and they get wet in the rain. There's indigenous tribes over there that are not funded.
Right. Because
they don't want to live off the planet the same.
Right. They don't want to partake in capitalism.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot, or there's just extremes like that in Central America that, like, remind me how lucky we are to be American. No matter how fucked up this whole system is, like, our basic needs are met. Mm-hmm. And it's like, if you look at the world now, you know that that's just not the reality for most people. Mm-hmm. And that's wild. Mm-hmm. It breaks my fucking heart. And, like, but whatever, the point is that I found a huge way to be grateful, because my mom tells us how they used to live, or how my dad used to live. Like, my dad grew up in Honduras, and they would, like, mix sugar and water, and, like, he would drink it, and that would be their dinner, because they didn't have food. Like, the government literally doesn't care about you. Like, you think the government doesn't care about you here? They like don't. You really think the government doesn't care about you here? Like, I know, I'll say it till the day I die, because they don't, and they exactly. they just really portray like they do, like they're sucking our dick. That's why I have a real problem with, you know, or we all do, right, with the fucking patriarchy and this government or whatever. But over there, they're literally, it's ludicrous. They're literally partaking with all the evils and the gangs and the whatever. It's power hungry, it's weird, it's sad, it's tragic, it's people's reality. And the only way I can help people is if I empower myself, and that's by reminding myself of everything I do have and how grateful I should be for everything, for the air that I breathe, for the legs that I have, for being able to see, for being able to hear music, or just like being able to get a job, being able to take my dog on a walk, you know, being able to read. Like, there's no education system in other places. I'm so lucky to be able to read and like educate myself
art
and
in that way.
Experience everything this earth has to offer. I can choose whatever I want, and sometimes that makes it paralyzing because there's so many things I want to do. But it's okay. I just have to take it one day at a time and be grateful in the present moment, be grateful today. And that's just how I try to move now. I scale it down. I break it apart. I'm like, no, I just have to focus on today and right now. Right now, what can I be grateful for? And that's it. I made it this far now by living in a lack mentality for 22 years. And I'm finally not. And so it's like, this is just the beginning, baby. Like, I have so much more that I can get.
That's coming to
that
you.
I deserve. Yeah.
That is meant for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And all you have to do is like open the door. Literally.
Yeah, and just take it day by day. And by open the door, I think it's just aligning yourself energetically to what you want.
Exactly.
Focus on why you want it.
Believe that you can have it.
Believe that you deserve it. I know this seems like such a small step, but that's really just the first step. Just believe that you deserve it, and then just go from there. That's something I still work on. Like, I'm still working on that first step, only because the way money was talked about growing up was in a really harsh way, where like, you can't just get money. Money doesn't just appear. Like, these things were literally said to us, and I believed it.
El dinero se va como agua.
Yeah,
that's my
water.
My mom would always say that, and I literally, I don't hear it anymore. But when I first started paying my own rent, like when I would put the money into the envelope when I like was paying my landlord, that voice would come out and be like, "El dinero se va como el agua," and it's just like, that's why it was that way, because I felt like that and I behaved accordingly.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm finding that more as I'm growing up too, because obviously, like, I just moved out. I'm 22. I'm learning what that even means to like deal with your own finances and stuff. Like, I'm really learning right now. So I'm nipping it in the bud, and I'm like, no, like, I'm not going to think this way anymore, because I'm having that same reaction. And now I'm just changing it to, how lucky am I to have money to spend for everything that I need, including rent, including water, everything, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I was buying like lotion, and like I like ran out of all the stuff I needed all at once, which of course always happens. I bought lotion, shampoo, face wash, moisturizer, things like that, and I'm like, oh, that was like so much or whatever. It's like, but I had enough money to spend it.
Yeah.
So now I have it.
You have the things that you need now.
Yeah.
You didn't hold on to it.
No, I didn't.
I don't have enough money. I'm not going to buy my stuff that I need.
Yeah.
And then who's winning there? Because now you don't have shampoo and soap, like things that you fucking need.
Exactly. And that's the lesson. That's the lesson for me, for sure. I'm like, I'm not going to hold on to this. I'm not going to just, like, I'm not going to live in lack mentality. Like, I'm not going to hold on to my money thinking I can't buy the things I need. And then I felt so relieved that I have, like, now, every day that I wake up, I'm like, I'm so grateful to have lotion and moisturizer and face wash and shampoo, and like I can take a shower and relax and not think about when am I gonna get shampoo. Like, that's what I'm grateful for now every day. And that, I think, comes also somewhat directly from not depending on anyone else for the first time in my life or anything. It's like, wow, yeah, I bought my own shampoo.
It feels good.
It feels great.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I'm just gonna focus on that. Focus on that bright feeling I get from knowing I bought my own shampoo. And I'm just gonna focus on it. People look at me like I'm crazy, and I'm like out here just worshiping the fact that I could buy shampoo. I don't care. Live your life. No one really cares.
I'm a little stoned, so I keep thinking about like little fucking slogans or quotes. Because we're talking about something so, like, I don't know, I feel like it needs to be spread like wildfire. And the thing I came up with is, having enough is having everything. Because if you have enough, you have everything you need.
Fuck yeah.
So why do you need extra?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah. And I'm like, I want to do, there's so much I want to do, just like everyone does, normal shit. And that's fine. I just remind myself, everything is temporary. Everything will come at its own time. I'm literally 22.
Yeah.
And I used to think, or sometimes I still do, I think like, oh my God, I'm 22. I'm never going to get a chance to do this at 22, which is also true. But I'm just learning more with time to be more patient. I think I'm maturing. I think I'm realizing.
You could say. My brain is developing.
My brain is developing at its normal speed. That's all we could hope for with how much weed I smoke. But anyway.
We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. I think it's expanding my brain personally. But anyway. I'm
Me
big
too.
brained. Anyway. So, I really think that it's just me accepting that I'm going to be alive longer than 22.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm like, no, I don't think that'll happen. Not because of anything specific. It's just I thought that seems like an abyss, like a black hole. Like I don't think that exists.
And that's lack mentality. If you think about it, it's just not with money. It's with time. And I get that too. Like when things don't work out according to plan, I panic the same way. I'm like, I really wanted to do this. It's like, bitch, are you gonna die right now? It's like, as far as I know, you're gonna be alive next week and the next year and the next fucking 5 years. Like, you can fucking do it.
Yeah, for however long you had it planned. If it was like next week's plans, there's another week. Mm-hmm. We had a vacation planned the year of COVID. We have another year. Mm-hmm. We're lucky enough to have another year. We're lucky enough to be fucking alive to begin with. Yeah. To even have foresight like that, to think I could possibly do this. Like, people didn't just die, but people are still reaping the repercussions of an illness that, like, we've never dealt with before. So people don't talk about the, like, leftover stuff that COVID can do to, like, your lungs and your taste buds. And, like, it's actually severe shit. Mm-hmm. Anyway, we're just lucky in a lot of ways is what I'm trying to imply. Like, just look to the things that you can be grateful for. That, like, we made it through COVID. Little things. Big things.
I really loved how you said, in order to help other people, I need to empower myself. Because I think living in abundance can sometimes seem selfish. Maybe that's a cultural thing, because, like, growing up, like, you're not supposed to, like, brag about how much you have or how much you... And it's not about bragging, right? But, like, I mean, when you guilt yourself about that stuff, you don't even do it in private. You know what I mean? And then you are cheating yourself out of the opportunity to be grateful for what you have because you feel guilty because you're, like, celebrating all the things you have. It's weird. Anyway, I don't know if that made any sense. But what I'm trying to say is that actually to live in a world of abundance is, like, the only real way you can be a generous person. Because otherwise, if you in your head are like, I am a broke bitch, well, a broke bitch can't afford to donate, or someone who doesn't have an abundant amount of time in their life doesn't have time to volunteer once a week, whatever it may be, you know what I mean? You have to feel like you have so much that you can share it with other people, because then you won't. Yes. Can we talk about traumatic Christmases?
Sure. I just think that we should first talk about our friend coming over for Thanksgiving and then go to Christmas stuff.
Okay.
So, just to finish it off, the thing about Thanksgiving, we're so excited because we're just going to share our Thanksgiving with our friend that we love so much, who is so down to earth. The three of us equally feel close to one another, so I really don't think it's gonna be awkward. It's gonna be fun, and we're just gonna entertain them with our fucking traditions and our food and showing them around where we grew up, maybe a little, and go out, maybe grab some food in that area and just feel the vibes, feel the holiday vibes. And feel, oh yeah, I was gonna say that, like, Thanksgiving, I also love it because it ties to everything we're talking about, because I've always been such a Pisces moon, because as a kid I'm like, oh my god, Thanksgiving, like, it would make my heart really warm to think about Thanksgiving, the fact that something existed for us to be thankful. Aww. Like, that's what my heart was missing. Like, I feel like I was always heartbroken that, like, Pisces are really peaceful, so when you realize the world isn't peaceful, it's kind of heartbreaking. So when you have, like, the little things that you can take that are, like, just a regular fucking day just to be thankful, like something like that, that's simple, which is how Pisces wish we all just lived. Like, why can't we just all enjoy what we can do as human beings together instead of like communism? But anyway,
Wait, communism or capitalism?
communism and capitalism.
I mean, yeah, they both suck. Well,
Yeah.
like, I was just gonna make a joke about Black Friday. Like, yes. I was gonna say, and then they slapped a Black Friday
Period.
right after it.
And that's on America being, it's like a broke person with a Gucci belt. Like, that's what America is. Literally. And they just had to make it tacky. It's so tacky that Black Friday is the literal next day. And I know it ruins my heart. Because literally everyone leaves early. Everyone leaves Thanksgiving early. And it's like, oh no, we're going to go Black Friday shopping. And I'm heartbroken because I'm like, I made muffins for everyone.
We can't stay for dinner. We gotta go. There's a Samsung LED TV, QLED, etc. fucking bullshit TV for sale. Yeah. And it's like, yeah. Off.
And then your mom and your grandma te persinan. And they're literally, like, peace be with you, son. Like, go get your TV.
I used to partake. My grandma me persinaba and then go. And like literally she would genuinely wish me good luck because Mexican grandmas love a good deal, you know?
Yes.
They're gonna support it, and my grandma just loves knowing that you got her gift on sale. Like, she loves to know that. You know what I mean?
She loves to know you got a steal.
One time my uncle bought her Ugg boots full price, and she somehow found out. Like, I don't know if the receipt was in the box, but she's like, you paid full price for this? I can't accept it. I just can't. And she literally didn't want them. Yeah. But my uncle forced her to keep them.
Yeah. My uncle could afford Ugg boots at that point. And it's literally just for that one minor detail. They weren't on sale.
Right.
But to my grandma, it's the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
Yeah. But no, totally. And like, because she comes from poverty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, that makes sense.
And that's why we're like that too. That's why we're so easily able to say we're broke. Because like, it was almost like, it was not applauded, it was encouraged to look at things in a lack way. It was encouraged because you should go for the cheaper option if it's better, if you think it's like just as good or whatever. It's just like, it's okay to go for what you need more than what you want and stuff like that. And it's just like, things, you just live in lack mentality,
right? And the thing is that like lack mentality and living for survival is basically the same thing. And I mean, that's the point about poor people. It's just, that's why it's so hard to get out of it, you know? Because it goes beyond like having physical money. It's like, it's a like, you survived by molding your brain into surviving only, you know? And then you just don't see a day where you would be able to spend more on things that you want but don't need, you know? And by need, see, that's another vague term. Like, I feel like we all need art. We all need leisure. But yet, that's not considered, like, a basic need, you know?
Yeah.
Which is
and that's why I think, like, I deserve a mansion just how someone who grew up in Honduras or any part of Central America deserves a mansion.
Right. And it's like, that's the thing, though, you know? Like, a mansion is just a ridiculous amount of space. Right. Like, why would anyone need that much space? If you're living with, like, your entire extended family, like, cool. But literally no one does that.
I guess my idea of a mansion is really just a house. And I think that's why it's so sad. Because, like, we set our standards so low.
Right.
It's too much to ask.
And it's not... that should be a basic need. Or, like, you know, I worked with people experiencing homelessness for, like, a few years. And I would literally sit down and make a budget with them. And the reason that is a preposterous statement is because most of them were on general relief because they were either too sick or too mentally ill to work, or worked so much that their back would give out. A lot of the people that were unemployed and on disability or applying for disability, that was the case. Like, it's not that they didn't want to work, it's that they worked so hard that their bodies just couldn't take it anymore.
That is so sad.
Yeah. And you know how much general relief will give you at most for an entire month, 30 days? The most you can get here in San Diego County is $300.
That's terrible.
Maybe it's a little higher because those things tend to fluctuate. And I haven't worked at Path for a long time. Like maybe a couple years. Actually, it's gonna be just 1 year. So actually it wasn't that long ago. But can you imagine only having $300 and then sitting down with your case manager and trying to like put your money into all these categories?
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. And I hated doing it. So I tried to make it as like I would just skip over things that were just fucking stupid. Like there was some that said what was it? Like entertainment or something like that.
Absolutely not.
Like, what do you mean by entertainment?
Yeah, absolutely not.
The movies?
That's,
You think they're gonna go? Do you think that they can
Mhm.
afford to go to the movies? You know, it's just like
It's such a like they're like laughing at everyone.
exactly.
I feel like
It's and like, well, no, they don't need to go to the movies. No, but everybody should be allowed to experience art, and it shouldn't be like that's how everything is gate kept in our society.
It's just like, okay, if they don't need to go to the movies, would you be able to survive with never going to the movies again?
Mm-hmm.
Life isn't just about your basic necessities,
Mm-hmm.
it's about living.
Yeah.
And if you can't like accept that, you're fucking lying to yourself.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, and people who think that way are usually the ones that are super money driven. So isn't that funny? It's like, you don't need all of this shit, but you're buying it and you're selling your soul to the devil to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way that I see it in my head, because it's like, if that's all you want and care about, you can get it in this world, you know? You just have to sacrifice everything else. Your relationship with people, you know, because that means you're going to be working sun up, sun down, having a family, or just like using your brain for something other that's self-serving.
Yeah.
Which is what our brain was actually created for.
Yeah.
You know? But Christina's coming.
But happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
No, but all really good points. Fucking really important. Everything we just said. How like that person that was at Path, that was homeless, worked so hard that their body gave out. Mm-hmm. You're selling your body. People talk about like, why do strippers exist and sell their bodies? Like, or why do strippers sell their bodies? Why do prostitutes sell their bodies? You want to talk about selling your body? You want to talk about selling your body? Are we meant to stand up for 40 hours a week? Because science and my doctor say no. So go fuck yourself, Joe Biden.
And I would love to get a little more specific about them, just because like it's literally the same thing, you know, like selling your body.
Yeah.
They worked for a landscaping company. So what that means is like there's designers out there who will come and like decorate your garden or your whatever, your yard or whatever. But usually it was for big scale things, like a mall or a big event or whatever. So what he did was like carry huge pots of plants, you know, and would have to climb or crawl to do all sorts of things to make it work. Because as much as like our country does have guidelines about how to like have a safe workplace, like you're still asking one human being to carry these ginormous fucking planters day in and day out, you know? And it's like construction. Like they have to work from early in the morning to like late at night. And my uncle used to work in construction, and I remember like he worked 7 days a week. Like he literally would work, well, sometimes I'll say, because I obviously had to have days off, but it's not like a consistent Monday through Friday where you have 2 days off a week, you know? And so that does something to a person, you know? His back there was like discs that were out of place. Like, can you imagine how fucking painful that shit is? Mm-hmm. He couldn't even walk straight up, standing straight up. Like he was like kneeling down, or he was like slouching. Yeah, because it hurt so bad. And he would tell me like sometimes like I'm just doing something like brushing my teeth or doing something like doing my laundry, and my back just like hits a nerve, and then I am paralyzed and I can't move because it hurts so bad, you know? And I like literally I had to fight every step of the way to just get him, to help him just get to apply for disability. Like, they put all these barriers, you know, like, oh, you're not eligible if you don't do this, you're not and it's like they want you to be so specific. They want you to know the first date that you ever worked and like what you did, and like it's like they ask so much of you, and they also send you to a doctor to make sure that it's true, you know what I mean? Which I'm not saying like that's wrong. I'm just saying like the process takes so long that it's like, well, you're taking so much time trying to figure out if this person's eligible or not. The whole time they're suffering and can't work and have to live off $300 a day. Mm-hmm. And that process, if you don't do it through legal aid here in San Diego, the process could take up like at least 2 years. At least 2 years. With legal aid, they tried to do it between 6 and 9 months. But honestly, the cases that actually got approved usually took like 15 months. And like all the while, and you know, it was so wild to work at Path because it was downtown. So, and we worked directly between like 3 banks, like Chase Bank, Bank of America, and Citibank. So, and like I'm talking about the actual corporate buildings. So there's all these people in suits walking around, you know, and like whatever. It's just like, or just such a juxtaposition of people, right? And then we used to take lifts with our clients if they needed to go to a doctor's appointment and for some reason couldn't get transportation. We could arrange to get a lift. And the amount of times that like the Lyft drivers would just make comments, like just like, and the thing is that like a lot of my clients didn't look homeless because they were because they lived at our shelter, right? So they had a place to shower and all this stuff and wash their clothes. The amount of times that Lyft drivers would like, because there was obviously a lot of people experiencing homelessness hanging out around our building because we had resources for them. And people, so it's like people at the same time, they have no idea that people are suffering this badly, that they have only have $300 to spend for a month. And yet they spit on people, you know, like figuratively, not literally, but like it's basically like they're spitting, like, ew, like they should get a job, or like, well, you know, a lot of them have drug problems. And a lot of time people who would say stuff like that, like, oh, well, you know, a lot of them have a drug problem, it just like, they really irked me because the way they would say it was like out of concern, almost like, oh, well, you know, a lot of them have drug issues. And it's like, okay, but you're saying it like they deserve it. And then, you know, I mean, yeah. If they just stop doing drugs, and it's like, easy. That's not a kind statement, what you're saying.
Yeah, it's not empathetic.
I do want to say a funny story though about that, because I had a client who denied that she was homeless. You know, she was not homeless, and she had been housed for a long time, but she was housed through a program, you know, and like all this stuff. And you know, just to keep it in perspective, this person had a lot of mental health issues and like grew up with a very abusive father. So like, yeah, the way they thought was like a little interesting, let's just say that. And so to them, it was like they weren't part of the homeless people, and like they would literally like we'd be talking, and if I was like, oh, you should do this program, and like the pamphlet said homeless on it, she'd be like, well, I'm not homeless. And it was just like, okay. And it was just so funny because we were in a lift. I mean, funny in a dark way. Because we were in a lift one time when the Lyft driver started talking about like, oh, there's so many homeless in downtown these days. Like, when are they gonna clean up the city? Like, blah, blah, blah. And my client, I literally just like got stiff because I was like, oh my God, this is so inappropriate. And at the time I didn't have the balls to be like, I'm sorry, but I don't really want to talk about this with you. So my client just starts fucking bonding with the driver over these shitty takes. And I'm just sitting there like, this is hilarious. Like, the driver's talking to a homeless person about the homeless problem, and the homeless person is like also talking shit about the homeless population.
Like, people or just say shit about anything. Like, why do you have to have an opinion about homeless people? Why can't you just shut the fuck up?
If you're not willing to actually want to know the problem and how you can help fix it, like, just shut the fuck up, Chad.
Yeah.
And it was always Chad's. It was always, like,
people who had their college paid for. Like,
literally.
Because of generational wealth.
People who were just so out of touch. And that's actually, I feel like, the point that you're making. It's like, well, clearly you don't care enough. Because otherwise you would have looked into this issue. So why do you feel like you have the right to even talk about it?
Yeah.
At all?
Yeah, like, these people are not you. You do not know their fucking experience. So why do you have an opinion?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, mind your own business. You look like a petty little prissy boy. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, you look like a little bitch. Like, just complaining about what? They need to clean up the city. The city that you decided to live in.
Yeah.
The city that you chose.
The city that they all lived in.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's not forget that Petco Park, which is the baseball stadium here, was built directly on housing. And when the people who live there were like, whoa. And obviously, you know, it's housing for people who are probably well off if they can live in downtown San Diego. But what about the homeless population that lived around there? Right? Because no one thinks about that. Mm-hmm. And like everyone's like, well, where are we supposed to go? And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Figure your shit out.
Yeah.
And so now all those people, either people maybe lost their housing or their jobs because it's a huge amount of fucking land. And I have no doubt in my mind that it somehow affected someone financially. And the people who were homeless living on the streets were pushed into like 17th Street. That's why you'll go downtown and like one street is like so condensed with homelessness. And then the next it's like completely like normal or whatever. It's just like a facade, you know? It's like one wrong turn and this is where we really live. Like this is the truth, you know?
Yeah.
We live in a place that doesn't And
I just want people who are not from LA to know that LA is like that too. It's not as intense because it's not the homeless population in San Diego is a little bit more dense. But in Los Angeles, it'd be like that. Mm-hmm. You see like a group of homeless people literally living on one street. You turn the corner and it's like Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. And like, it's like Rodeo Drive.
Right.
It's wild.
It's like every time I see it with my eyes, I'm like, I'm literally looking at the epitome of this country and how everything about its values, quote unquote, is bullshit. Yeah. Because like, what? Like, even just like, oh, we all have the right to have property and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, but in order to have property, you need a job. And obviously you don't think I deserve a job because none of you would hire someone with like a record, right? Mm-hmm. When like maybe, and this is just an example I'm thinking of off the top of my head, and maybe the record is for stealing, and maybe they were stealing in order to sell things, in order to have money, in order to eat, you know? Yeah. So it's like, no, well, everyone has the right, but clearly not everyone, you know? And it's just bullshit. It's just fucking bullshit. Yeah. Rodeo Drive in particular. Rodeo Drive in particular because, you know, I didn't want to go too hard on San Diego. I feel like we are doing a really good job with homelessness. We're like really oriented towards harm reduction, meaning that instead of trying to like stop people from using drugs, they stop people from dying from using drugs. So like needle replacement centers where they give you clean needles because you're gonna use, so you might as well use a clean needle so that you don't die from some bigger illness, right? So props to San Diego. That's the only reason I said that. Let's just do one traumatic story about Christmas. Yeah, we can do that. Because earlier you were like, you know, you were just comparing, like, Thanksgiving, you have a lot of good memories. Christmas, there are some, like...
Yeah. Yes, you're right. Okay, go on.
It's not... The story isn't about you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just didn't want you to think I was about to, like, air something out. No. The first thing that came to mind when you said that was, like, I lost my voice for 2 weeks. Do you remember this? Like, laryngitis is common, whatever. It's not the end of the world. but like I lost my voice for 2 weeks, 10 days. I couldn't talk. My voice, like, not even like the raspy whisper, you know, like not even that. Like, it was closed shut. It hurt. And like that Christmas was so traumatic. I couldn't talk to anybody. Everyone was just having a fucking laugh. And you know me, I have to make jokes. I have a performance, baby. I have, you know, and I just had to sit there and be like, and clap for everyone. Like, yeah, this is fun, everyone. It was very, very, and it was messing with my brain. I was like, what if I can never talk again? Like, 2 weeks is a long time to not be able to talk. And obviously for New Year's, I couldn't talk either.
What year was this?
It was when I was sick. So it must have been when I was like 13 or 14.
Okay.
And that's why it was so severe, right? Because like laryngitis is an infection of your larynx. I think, I don't know. But like when you're sick and you have a low immune or don't have white blood cells, things are very severe when they usually wouldn't be. Mm-hmm. So yeah, trauma.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that happened.
It's okay. I mean,
because I know what you mean. Like, our family is fucking funny
and loud.
Yeah, and like they will not think of
including
people who
you.
are quiet for a second. Yeah, they're there to get the spotlight. We're trying to steal the spotlight from each other. We're trying to get my grandma's approval, each one by one.
Literally.
Each taking our turn. So that was your bad Christmas?
Yeah, that was the thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
Just feeling so isolated. But like I do remember like making the best of it, you know? I wasn't pouting or anything.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're a kid, like that's a huge deal when you're a kid.
It is. Especially when you already kind of feel that way, like when you could speak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unseen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe I'll think of more traumatic Christmases for next podcast.
Yeah, maybe because that'll be the next one.
We'll be officially in Christmas time.
I'm so
and by
excited.
Christmas, I mean holiday. I'm sorry. I grew up Catholic, so we talk about Christmas.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to say holidays because, of course, Christmas is not the only holiday.
Yeah, and we don't really celebrate it. It's more like the capitalist version.
Right. So. Exactly.
American, you know?
I mean, my grandma has a little nativity scene.
Yeah. We dabble with
chill with
Jesus.
JC a little.
Yeah.
He's welcome.
We both literally said the same type of joke, just in different ways. Like,
how did you say it?
I said, yeah, we chill with baby Jesus a little, or something like that.
That's
or
fun.
we vibe with baby Jesus a little.
Yeah.
I love my grandma's nativity scene because it's just so nostalgic. It's just something she's always done, and it's her thing. So let the queen live.
Yes. Period, mama.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited that it's the holidays. Like, I'm just happy in general. It feels different, but like in a way where I feel more, I just feel more grounded. So I'm like really grateful for it this year. I'm really grateful.
Yay.
So I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. I hope you spend it with your friends and people who love you. And if you feel like you don't have a group of people who really know you yet, know that you deserve it. And know that it will come by next year. Mm-hmm. Just tell yourself that, and it will happen. I swear. Because I probably did that same thing last year. I was like, oh, I want a Friendsgiving. And guess what I did this year? I had a Friendsgiving, and so many people showed up.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people. And it's like, it's not about the quantity. It's about the quality. Mm-hmm. And the point is that I was able to attract both. Because I deserve both. Just how you deserve both. You deserve to have options.
Period.
Okay. Heathy says bye. Heathy says happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, I just wanted to make a little comment because I've noticed that when I, like you said, a year ago, you were like, I wish I had a Friendsgiving. I wish I had a group of people to have Friendsgiving with. And then it happened and it was way more than you even expected. And that's how the universe works. The universe, God, source, you know, that's how it works. You ask, you believe that you deserve it, and then you get more than you thought. You're overflowing.
Yeah.
Which is how God. Heather doesn't want us to continue. And I agree. We're being long-winded. Let's just fucking end this shit right now.
The point is, we had a great Friendsgiving. You deserve a Friendsgiving. We love Friendsgiving. I love Thanksgiving. I love turkey. I love you guys, and I love the Macy's parade. I hope you guys have like the best meal ever. I hope all your favorite foods are made.
And just manifest. Believe that you're getting what you want. and it'll come and it'll happen. And that's all I wish for you, to know that. Because once you know that, you have everything.
Yep.
Bye.
Love you guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.